Cassie and Diddy are forever tied. I don't think when she fought the lawsuit, she knew all of the demons that were going to be unleashed against her and Diddy. Hey YouTube family, welcome back to the channel, Celebrity Scandalous. Hope you're having a fabulous day today. If you're new here, welcome to the group chat. Hit that like button, share the love, and let's get into the mess. When she sued him, she pretty much opened Pandora's box on herself as well. I know Cassie is viewed as the victim of Diddy, but I feel she still needs to take some accountability. You don't get to run around with the devil for a decade and claim, woe is me, I'm innocent. Chick, you had your hand in some twisted ish too. Well, now the devil is coming to collect from both of them. She's just lucky that she didn't end up in prison or jail like Diddy did. She worked with the feds to get him locked up, but she was doing some dirt as well. But anyway, let's get into this article on allhiphop.com. And they're talking about this lawsuit that's recently been filed against Diddy and Cassie. Man, when I tell you she opened Pandora's box on her own self, this is crazy. So you guys, this is an exclusive on allhiphop.com. Diddy and Cassie are facing some insane accusations from a former male dancer who says the one-time power couple drugged him, ripped his condom, and left him with an incurable STD after a brutal hotel freak-off. Edmond Laurent, an adult entertainer who performed under the name Islander, claims Diddy and Cassie spiked his orange juice with powerful rugs, then actually assaulted him while he was unconscious. Now, we gotta believe this because, they testified to all the crazy stuff that they were doing to people and to each other, so he probably ain't lying. Laurent says the assault left him with condyloma. Now, that's something I ain't never heard of. That must be a new one. A lifelong STI. Backyard warts, along with stomach cancer, devastating weight loss, and severe mental health. They messed this guy up. My goodness. I wonder, I'm just thinking out loud. I wonder if he's going to be able to prove all of these things because it all happened so long ago. Will he be able to prove if he has any of these health conditions? Will he be able to tie it back to whatever they did to him or the allegations? He's going to have some kind of a medical record during that time. According to the filing, Laurent was recruited in the late 2000s after being booked for what he thought was a standard bachelorette-style appearance at a Los Angeles hotel, only to find a masked couple who later turned out to be Diddy and Cassie. He says the encounter led to a pattern of so-called freak-offs where Diddy allegedly directed every move while Cassie helped recruit male escorts and keep the operation running smooth. She was the Bonnie to the Clyde. Laurent claims Diddy first tried to get him on their frequency by pushing alcohol and party drugs in a Mondrian hotel penthouse, despite Laurent saying he rarely drank and did not use narcotics. No, I'm a party boy. I bend over for you, but I don't do drugs, y'all. He alleges that after finally giving in to one shot, he quickly felt extremely woozy and lightheaded and believes the drink had been secretly laced. So this is from the pleading that he filed. Combs directing control and verbal assault. Following the breaking of the condom, defendant Combs came behind plaintiff, leaned in closely, and whispered in his ear in a low, suggestive tone, blank that, pound that, with his voice deliberate and insistent, reinforcing the coercive atmosphere. Y'all know what the kitty cat. Plaintiff felt increasingly trapped and uncomfortable, but due to the effects of the drugged, baby oil and situation he found himself in, he struggled to fully resist or leave despite his intent and attempts to do so, but he was hindered by the rugs and the environment. I'm sure he was like woozy, like, what's going on? During other encounters, defendant Combs would instruct defendant Ventura to perform oral X on plaintiff. When she did not perform it how defendant Combs wanted, he would snatch the plaintiff's eggplant from defendant Ventura and insert plaintiff's erect eggplant into his mouth to mimic the movements he wanted to see without plaintiff. What? Wait a minute, I gotta read this. Y'all, I gotta read this again. During other encounters, defendant Combs would instruct defendant Ventura to perform oral on plaintiff, and when she didn't perform it how defendant Combs wanted, he would snatch plaintiff's eggplant from Ventura and insert plaintiff's eggplant into his mouth to mimic the movements he wanted to see without plaintiff's consent. Oh, Lord. See, now this is the first time we are hearing that Diddy had any interactions with the escorts. For most of the testimony, because y'all know I was there, I'm going to say it 1,000 times. I was in the courtroom. Most of the testimony, like, he never touched them or did anything. But now we're hearing, okay, this guy is saying, no, he performed some. Yeah. In another alleged incident, Laurent says Diddy ordered him to slather himself in heated baby oil that had been spiked with GHB. Now, that's another thing. They never proved, when they found all that baby oil, none of it tested positive for GHB when they found it. So I'm not saying that he never used it, but they never found that to be credible, leaving him mellow and impaired as the couple took control. During the encounter, he says he had sex with Cassie using a condom, but refused Diddy's demand to remove it. Now, we did hear that Diddy didn't like them to use, cover-ups. Even after they flashed what they claimed were clean test results and insisted Cassie had no other partners. Well, Diddy was lying about that. Now, if he said that, we know that's a lie, because she had a lot of partners. They had a lot of those entertainers that they hired. Laurent says Cassie then reached down mid-stroke and deliberately ripped them with her fingernails, exposing him without consent, while Diddy whispered graphic encouragements like, yeah, that in his ear. Woof. This is too much, you guys. I'm too old to be reading stuff like this. He also accuses Diddy of grabbing his eggplant and putting it in his own mouth when he didn't like how Cassie was performing oral relations, calling it non-consensual and humiliating move done purely for the disgraced mogul's voyeuristic control. Okay, so basically he's saying when Diddy grabbed his, and put it in his mouth, that he wasn't consenting to all that. Diddy, I did not, no, we didn't agree to this, okay? The final freak off. The most harrowing claim centers on what Laurent describes as the final freak off, when the couple allegedly leaned into his sobriety and offered him a glass of orange juice instead of liquor at another Los Angeles hotel. So we're not going to offer him liquor, we're going to offer him some orange juice, okay? Laurent says he drank it, believing they were respecting his boundaries, but now believes the juice was spiked with ropinol, maybe I'm saying that wrong, you guys, and ketamine that knocked him out within minutes. Well, damn, why would they knock him out? Because he can't perform. That's crazy. They probably weren't measuring. They could have unalived somebody, to be real, okay? When he woke up hours later, Laurent says he was naked, drenched in baby oil, and in excruciating pain with intense pressure in his backside and barely enough strength to stumble out of the room while Diddy and Cassie slept in the master suite. After they did whatever they did to him, they went into the room, retreated to the master suite for their leisure for the rest of the evening. Weeks later, he says, bottom warts appeared and doctors diagnosed him with condyloma. Again, I don't know half of these words. I ain't had all that. Which he believes came from Diddy, whom the complaint accuses of knowingly being infected and concealing his status. You guys, we got to look that up. I'm going to look it up after I do this, but it's something I ain't never heard of before. From there, Laurent claims his life spiraled. Constant vomiting, gastric surgery, stomach cancer, rotting teeth, oh my Jesus, and completely derailed entertainment career, all allegedly tied to being drugged and assaulted in Diddy's orbit. He's suing for assault, battery, actual battery, negligence, intentional infliction of emotional distress, human trafficking, saying Diddy and Cassie treated escorts like disposable props and a high-end abuse machine. Bam! Like, I wouldn't even want to be in the brothel. Like, you know that you are entering the dark side when you get into stuff like this. I think you do. That's why I never took no money for no coochie cooch. It just, no. Diddy is already serving time in the feds in October 2025. A New York federal judge sentenced him. We know all that. He's serving out his time in Fort Dix. This is a crazy story, but now, as of late, as of the last couple of months, we're hearing more stories where more of the escorts are finally coming out saying that they did have relations with Diddy, allegedly. Because like I said, during the trial, it was mostly about him being a voyeur and watching but not participating, like he's over there directing it. But anyway, y'all jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about all this. I'm hearing Diddy just ain't never gonna get... They're saying he ain't never gonna get out of prison. He gonna go from one jail serving time to the next. And these lawsuits is at least 20, 30, 40, 50. A lot of them have been dismissed, but I just think a few of them are going to stick. I don't know. But y'all jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.